We're backstage at Bonnaroo with a South London artist named Adele. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to Bonnaroo.
Thank you. It's wicked to be here.
Good. I'm so glad. You have a beautiful debut album in stores now called 19. And I'm wondering what it was like for you as an artist great singer, to get into the studio for the very first time. Was there a lot to learn?
Not really. I loved it. Just singing. I had to sing all day for like 8 hours. I loved it. I mean, the songs were already written when I was in the studio, so it wasn't kind of like I went in the studio with nothing. I was kind of having to be inspired and experiment. Though I already knew how they were going to be and how I was going to record them and stuff like that. So I didn't really have to learn much. I wasn't on the desk. Left that to the producers. I just sat in the room and sang. So it was a pleasure. I loved it. My favourite thing is live, but being in the studio is great as well.
So, and as a girl, it sounds like you had spent a lot of time in a room singing 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
How did you find your voice?
Well, it kind of, my voice wears out a lot because I do smoke. But I don't know. Yeah, it was great. I just love singing. I just want to sing.
Yeah.
So I'd sing for 12 hours a day in a room if I had to.
Yeah.
So,
and if you weren't a songwriter, do you think you would sing standards, ballads?
Probably. I think I'd always do ballads. I like doing ballads. Yeah.
The album has a lot of songs about heartache.
Yes.
Is it difficult to go every time you sing to go to that place of?
Yeah, it can
heartbreak?
be sometimes. It can be. It depends what kind of mood I'm in, what kind of show it is. It's a lot harder when he's there, obviously.
Well, you say he.
Yeah, he.
So there's a specific.
Oh, yeah, it's very specific. All one boy. But yeah, sometimes it just depends. It depends, if you're just having a bad day, everything affects you. So it can be more difficult on some days singing them songs than on other days when sometimes I purposely kind of unattach myself from them so that I don't have to kind of get worn out by it.
Right. Is it ever purging?
What do you mean?
Like to get cathartic, to get it out.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah, it's therapy. It's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
I wouldn't admit them things in the songs that just normally to myself. So, and I would never talk about them. So
you can reveal more in your songs than
you can just make them all romantic and glamorize them and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can write about something really sour, but it can sound really beautiful. So it's just kind of disguising it, I guess.
And what were some of your very first live shows like when you first started out performing?
When I first started out, I went to performing arts school, so I did music. So them shows were always great, just like performing in front of like 400 of your friends. But obviously that bubble is at the school. The bubble doesn't exist out of the school. So my first gig, there were about 10 people there, which were mostly my mum and her friends. But these three they weren't little, they were kind of about 15. These three girls came who knew me on MySpace and were just standing at the front just singing my lyrics back to me. I'd never met them. First show I'd ever done outside of school, all because of MySpace. I had these three girls singing every single word to my 4 songs that I played.
And do you find that as you conquer the United States that MySpace is just an enormous tool for you because so many people are aware of you?
Completely. And the internet in general, I'm coming to the end of my first proper North American tour. And they haven't been at huge venues. They've been like kind of 300 plus size. And they've all sold out on the night. And that's because of MySpace. I hadn't done any TV. I'm not on the radio really, And it's completely because of MySpace and Perez Hilton and YouTube.
And Perez Hilton, what's the connection there?
He started writing about me on New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve just gone and started writing about me, and then masses of people found out about me.
Have you ever met him?
Yeah, I've met him quite a few times. I love him. I met him in London at London Fashion Week, at the Brit Awards. He came to my show at Hotel Cafe. Saw him on his birthday. Yeah, I've met him quite a few times.
For folks who don't know, he's a blogger. He's like a Los Angeles-based
Bitchy
blogger.
Bitchy
blogger. That's good.
Very powerful. It's actually unbelievable how powerful he is.
Isn't it? And how fast. All of a sudden, it's like everybody's talking about Perez Hilton.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, it's great. He's lovely, I think.
So we talked a little bit about what your early shows were like, and how are the shows different now that you've got a few shows under your belt? You just finished your North American tour. What's it like now?
Well, I've probably done about 150 shows. I've got a lot of gigs under my belt. I did a lot before my album came out as well. I was touring with my friend, which was always, fun. Obviously, people weren't there to see me, so it was harder to kind of get an audience into me. Since the album came out, the shows have been amazing. Obviously, in the UK, the shows have got bigger. They're bigger venues, and there's loads of people rather than those 3 random girls that know my words. And I get
whatever happened to those 3 random girls?
I'm sure they were there. Probably just couldn't get to the front or something. And also have a big, when I used to do shows on my own, it was on my own on guitar, whereas now sometimes I have a 9-piece band.
Right.
So the production's all bigger, I have more songs. And then here, you know, it's different. I would never have been able to come here a year ago and done a show here, let alone play a big festival like this. So everything's changed in terms of the live setup.
Yeah. And your sound has, I want to say like a slightly retro quality to it. Do you object to the term retro? Is retro okay?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Nostalgic?
Yeah, whatever, yeah. Yeah.
Where does that come from?
That's the artist I like. The singers I like. Like, lots of people say my music's kind of soul and retro. Like, I actually disagree. I think my voice is very retro and soul because of Etta James and Roberta Flack and Carole King, and I've taught myself how to sing by listening to them. So I just kind of have them in me without even realising. You know, they're like almost part of my DNA now. I adore them so much. Yeah, I you know, that's why they inspire me beyond anything.
Mm-hmm.
But my music, I think, is pop. I think it's current. I think it's very contemporary, you know, rather than being old music that is contemporary.
Right.
But, you know.
It's not a throwback.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I'd rather kind of try and make a new sound rather than make it kind of disguising an old one.
Right. And so there's this very sort of smoky, loungy vibe to the record. How does that translate to like a big outdoor music festival like Bonnaroo?
I have no idea. This is only the second one that it's not even, I did this, there's a huge radio station in England called Radio 1, and they did like a weekend with like all the kind of big acts they've been playing, and I did that, and I've never been so scared in my entire life, so this is going to be on a completely different level because people know me in the UK, they're just getting to know me here. But I don't know, I mean, my voice is certainly smoky today. Been smoking far too much this tour. I don't know, I'm just going to